If a person can work from home, great, because this is how the guidelines say, and this is great. But again, dentistry, and there's some things that cannot be done from home. And I can see that it's gonna be necessary to slowly open up some of the industries that are necessary. I know that most important is safety, because so many deaths happen and every life is so important. I want to emphasize this, like this is the most important thing right now, but there's a lot of things also involved that needs to be addressed. So this is how I feel right now about going back to work in the middle of the pandemic. I feel like, it has to be done really safely. Hello everyone, this is Inspired Tuesday. This is my weekly vlog for all of you that have been following me. And I started the vlog to add value to my team at Icon Dental Center, and I share it with you and hope to add value to you too. So right now, since the pandemic of COVID-19, I changed the format of the vlog to focus on the subject, because I've been receiving a lot of questions on the subject. So I am going to use here to answer those questions. And every week I've been answering questions. I've been putting them in a more comprehensive way so I can answer as many things and discuss as many things in the 3 questions that I talk about every time. So today again, I'm gonna talk and answer 2 questions and bring 1 quote and then 1 more question. I really hope that this is helpful for you. Question number 1 is, how do you feel about going back to work in the middle of this pandemic? So I'm sure that this question came after the task force, the presidential task force on the coronavirus, they came up with these guidelines to reopen the country, right? That's how they call it. And of course, as a business leader, my main concern at this moment is the safety of my team and my patients. This is the main thing that comes to my mind. If it is time to go back, we're gonna have to be really safe. And definitely there are ways to do that, right? We can come up with ways to do that. And again, my concern and in my industry as dentistry is that I understand that there's a lot of things that is elective, right? Because right now, it's okay to do emergency dentistry, which is mainly infection, pain, swelling, things like this. A tooth that needs a root canal needs to come out. But it gets to a point that those elective things that were postponed due to the coronavirus to slow the spread, they end up becoming an emergency with time, right? So many calls that we got during that could wait a little bit. Okay, my old filling came out. My old crown, blah, 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 is getting loose. A tooth is breaking. I'm grinding. Like all these things that could wait a little bit, but they end up becoming an emergency with time. So it needs to be addressed. It cannot wait a whole year that it may take for the vaccine, right? It's like a lot of patients are getting desperate. Like I really need to see a dentist. This, things needs to be fixed. But again, if a person can work from home, great, because this is how the guidelines say, and this is great. But again, dentistry, and there's some things that cannot be done from home. And I can see that it's gonna be necessary to slowly open up some of the industries that are necessary, and plus people go crazy staying home, and the economy and how they're gonna support their families. They know that most important is safety, because so many deaths happen and every life is so important. I want to emphasize this, like this is the most important thing right now, but there's a lot of things also involved that needs to be addressed. So this is how I feel right now about going back to work in the middle of the pandemic. I feel like, it has to be done really safely. And we'll figure out a way to get this done according to guidelines and all the government. And there's a lot of smart people working on ways to get this done. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, do you think that the cases of coronavirus is gonna go up once the stay-home order relaxes? Okay, there's always a risk for that, right? This is why it's so important to strictly follow the guidelines, whatever it is, because reopening the country, and how he's saying, is not a switch on and off. It's as Dr. Fauci says, right, it's not on and off. Like, it's done in stages. To even qualify to stage number 1, the state needs to be stable in 14 days with a number of cases for at least 14 days to even think about it. The number of PPE in the states needs to be enough to reopen. And the hospitals needs to be like, back to what it was before they got a little bit overwhelmed. So there's a lot of guidelines. There's a lot of 16 pages to this for this to work. So I really hope that we follow this right. And there's also the test that's gonna be done. So there's 2 tests. One test is the one that is to test if the person is currently infected with the coronavirus. The other test is to see if the person was infected. That's to see if they have the antibody, luckily the antibody, right, to be immune to the disease at this point, which is gonna be a great thing right now. And the third is gonna be the contact tracing. So if someone was in contact with anybody that have this positive to the disease, they're gonna isolate whoever was in contact with the person and make sure that it's not spreading, out there spreading the virus. So there's gonna be all these things to be followed. All of this, of course, and at the same time that this is happening, of course, there's a lot of progress with the vaccines, there's a lot of progress with treatment. Hopefully they can find a treatment at least for now, right? That would be awesome. And for us in dentistry, I feel like a patient coming in, they're already used to see the dentist, the hygienist, the assistant with masks. So now if they get in and see the front desk with mask and gloves, it's not gonna be so shocking, right? And I'm sure there's gonna be way more than just wearing gloves and mask in a dental clinic. There's gonna be like a specific kind of face shields, taking temperatures, and there's a lot of things that's gonna be followed because we're gonna have to make sure that it's safe. It's safe for the team, for the patient, no spreading the disease. We have to do this very, very correctly. As much as it can be done, right? And the thing is, like, of course, other industries a little bit more tricky because going to a restaurant and seeing a waitress with a mask may be a little bit more shocking than seeing a dentist with a mask, right? Because they're used to it. But the good news is that the human species are very adaptable and we can adapt to new realities, to the new normal. We're gonna be able to adapt and things are gonna get better because, again, treatments, vaccine, everything is on the line right now. Hopefully a lot of great scientists working on this. I'm very positive that it's gonna be fine. But all we need to do is make sure that we keep it safe, so we're not spreading the disease. This is really an important message, so no more cases get out of control. That's question number 2.
A quote from Tony Robbins: "Growth, resilience, and love are our true nature, and these attributes make for a beautiful life no matter what's happening in the world around us."
Question number 3 is, how do you manage to stay engaged with your team? Okay, even before the whole situation of the coronavirus, I have a weekly email that I send to the team. It's an update email and it's to set up the tone for the week. It's I usually send it on a Sunday night, but it's a Monday email, so you wake up on Monday and the first thing you do, you read that email. It's to set up the tone of the week. And this is how I connect to the team and update the team with things that are happening in the business and what are we looking forward for this week to come, and all the good stuff and all the the good vibes. So that email, I kept it. So every Monday I still have it, and this is how I update everyone, and this is how I use to help everyone if they have anything to communicate. And of course, this is one of the ways. One other way is we have a group message to the team. Yes, we have a big team, but it's not so huge, right? So we can do it on messages. We're trying to stay connected. For example, right on Easter, a lot of people sent us pictures of their kids, either with the eggs or the bunny. We try to stay connected this way. And is literally, leadership is about that. They gotta know that their leader have their back. Just how you do it in your family, with your kids, with your spouse. If they know you have their back, with your friends. Like, this is what leadership is. So it's very important to stay connected and for them to feel also that they can count on their leader. And I hope I do as much as I can to stay engaged. But of course, I miss my team so much. I miss my patients. I miss, you miss being with them. We used to see them more than I see anybody else. So that's how we stay engaged. They totally feel the connection because of that. But I'm glad for that Monday email. At least I feel a little bit, the one thing that I'm still doing the same way that it was before. So this is how, for me, it's working. But I know a lot of other people that have bigger businesses, they're using Zoom and to get meetings done. As long as you do something to stay connected with your team, this is very important this time. They want to know that you're there for them. So that's my question number 3. And I really hope this was helpful and you guys found any value on those questions the way I answered. And keep sending the messages and the questions, right? I hope, and I'm also connected to you on the side a lot of the times on questions that you have, but I like to bring them into here so I can share with more people. And again, if you haven't done yet, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our pages on Facebook and Instagram at Icon Dental Center for more of those Inspire Tuesday vlogs. And until next time, my friends, I really hope you stay safe, healthy, and stay optimistic. That's very important. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.